I'm Selina Morrison, a lifetime Diamond Beachbody coach, and I'd like to say thanks to everyone for taking the time to be in this call. You're working to expand your knowledge and your business, and I'm stoked to be doing this presentation for you today. So we're going to start by doing a quick game of Simon Says. So everybody stand up. So Simon says, put your hands up in the air. Simon says, wave your hands around. Simon says, wave your arms around while you're jumping on one leg. Simon says, jump on the other leg. Sit down. Oh, who did I get? Stand back out. I want you to be active. Simon says, jump up and down on both feet. Simon says, wave your hands to the left. Simon says, wave your hands to the right. Okay, everybody sit down. Simon says, sit down. That was a strategic game of Simon Says because the Department of Exercise Science at the University of Georgia did a study that found even brief exercise encourages information processing and memory function in the brain. Exercise does 1,000,001 things for our brain, and I'd like to touch on a few of the most miraculous. Have you ever heard that running is addicting, or heard of the runner's high? Cardio increases the heart rate and pumps more oxygen straight to the brain, which has its own vast amount of amazing side effects. But it also releases a plethora of hormones, all of which participating in aiding and providing a nourishing environment for the growth of brain cells. UCLA recently confirmed in a study that exercise increases growth factors in the brain, making it easier for the brain to grow new neuron connections, which means memories. A study by Stockholm showed that the antidepressant effects of running was also associated with more cell growth in the hippocampus, an area of the brain responsible for learning and memory, and the same antidepressant-like effects associated with runner's high found in humans is associated with a drop in stress hormones. Last year, researchers at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center came up with one clinical guideline for the necessary exercise dose that doctors should recommend to patients to reap the antidepressant effects. Judy Cameron, a neuroscientist at University of Pittsburgh, trained a group of middle-aged and older monkeys to run on a treadmill for 1 hour each day, 5 days a week for 5 months. A running regimen similar to that recommended for an average middle-aged adult. As the one group of monkeys ran, a second group of monkeys sat on the treadmill. Over the course of the study, the researchers evaluated the monkeys' ability to learn new things. Regardless of the age of the monkeys, Cameron's group discovered that the monkeys on the running regimen learned new things twice as fast as the sedentary animals. We were excited to see that the same moderate level of exercise that is recommended for middle-aged people is able to improve how the brain works in monkeys, increasing alertness, attentiveness, and leading to faster learning, said Cameron. By a show of hands, who knows someone who has or had dementia, Alzheimer's, or any form of dementia? As a carried, I know that in her 60s, a woman's estimated lifetime risk for developing Alzheimer's is 1 in 6. For comparison, breast cancer, it is 1 in 11. 1 in 4 people will develop a dementia by the age of 65, and that risk doubles every 5 years after that. And almost 2/3 of Americans with Alzheimer's are women. Curious about whether exercise could help slow or reverse the 1 to 2% annual decrease in the hippocampus, Art Kramer and his colleagues at the University of Illinois recruited a group of healthy, sedentary adults from ages 55 to 80 to participate in a year-long exercise program. These adults were divided into 2 teams. One spent their time walking for 40 minutes 3 times per week, while the other performed a variety of strength and balance exercises. At the start, middle, and completion of the study, the researchers used MRI to measure the volume of the hippocampus. The size of the hippocampus increased by 2% on average in the adults that completed the walking regimen, and their memory improved. In contrast, the participants who completed a year-long balance and strength training program experienced a 1% decrease in the volume of the hippocampus. So roughly, there was not much change in the strength and training program. These findings suggest that brain and cognitive health can benefit from very modest increase in exercise and physical activity. Kramer says, it's never too late to reap the benefits of exercise. Another study by Alskog in 2011 showed a review of 130 different studies found that exercise helped prevent dementia and mild cognitive impairment among participants. A study by Schoenfeld in 2013 showed that lab mice improved their ability to regulate anxiety by running, and almost any type of exercise that gets the heart working reduces the risk of dementia. So just in a small bit of information, we see that exercise will make us happy, and we all know that when we feel happy, we are more easily motivated and thrive in our life experiences. We all know that exercise makes us feel great, but let's look even deeper into how it changes our whole lives. This is Stacy. Stacy has always been overweight and has always struggled with her self-respect because she hates herself for not being able to look and feel the way that she wants to, regardless of how much she's wished she could just be happy with her body. Stacy was approached by a mom and a local Beachbody coach about taking part in a 21-day fix challenge group and was excited to start seeing results. Stacy started her challenge with a negative mind frame that this wouldn't work, but at this point in her life she was willing to try anything. After 10 days, Stacy had already lost 10 pounds and 13 inches, and after 21 days, Stacy lost 17 pounds and 23 inches. Besides the obvious changes in her body, we asked Stacy's family what they thought about her 21-day results. Her husband said, "I have never seen Stacy go so many days without criticizing her body before. Almost every day when I'm getting ready for work, I hear at least one positive remark from her about herself, which is something I haven't heard from her in the last 15 years that we've been together. When we are out in town together, she is talking to strangers, whereas before she used to try to avoid eye contact and absorb herself in interacting with our kids. When she talks, she is magnetic because she has a tune in her voice that I remember from when we first met. Her newfound confidence is as obvious as the weight loss." When her kids were asked what they thought of the weight loss, her youngest daughter said, "My mom says she feels beautiful again. I see it too because she has such a big smile now. I think my mom's eyes are more beautiful than they used to be because they look like they sparkle." Her teenage son said, "My mom has started walking with me to school in the mornings now, and that's what I notice the most. Before, my mom used to sleep in, but now she gets up early with me so that she can do her workouts. But she walks me to school, and it means the world to me to get that time to talk to her. She's more interested in my personal life. She asks me and remembers when I tell her about school projects, and it makes me try harder because I want to tell her that I did good on them. I'm a lot closer with my mom since she started this program, and I'm glad to see her so happy." When Stacy was asked about her results, she embellished on all the ways that her body has changed, but all the things in Stacy's life that mean the most to her family have nothing to do with the way that her body looks. This is Tara. Tara is a single student and has 15 pounds that she would love to lose so that she could feel proud to show off her body in the summer. With the hectic chaos that is post-secondary, Tara doesn't feel that she has time to dedicate to fitness, but needs to do something. She is approached by another student who is also a Beachbody coach and is asked to take part in a T25 challenge. Tara was stoked because she knew she could commit to 25 minutes a day and was excited to start seeing results. But when she finishes the 10 weeks, her results come in second place on her list of motivation. Tara was suffering from depression and finding herself unable to make friendships in the new state. She figured she could disappear and no one would notice. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow believed you needed to have certain needs met before you could build to self-actualization, and love and belonging needs to be met before even self-respect. It's important to feel that someone needs you, almost more important than it is for you to think you need yourself. Tara finished her 10 weeks with huge results, 20 pounds and 27 inches, because she was so committed to being held accountable in a challenge group. Tara was approached early on in the challenge after only 1 week of being in it and was encouraged by her coach with her activity on the page. She felt like she was needed and had created relationships with all of the other amazing challengers who got to sweat every day to their goals. Tara said that she has since traveled to meet some of those challengers and coaches and has created lifelong friendships. She has since made a huge network of friends on campus, which has been an amazing network for her new Beachbody business. Whether you're a coach or just a very active challenger, your life is going to be changed by the people that you encounter on your Beachbody transformation journey. An Australian study conducted by the Centre for Aging Studies at Flinders University followed nearly 1,500 older people for 10 years. It found that those who had a larger network of friends outlived those with the fewest friends by 22%. In 1989, David Spiegel, MD, a professor of psychiatry at Stanford University, published a landmark paper in Lancet. It showed that women with breast cancer who participated in a support group lived twice as long as those who did not. They also had much less reported pain. Sheldon Cohen, PhD, a psychology professor at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, has shown that strong social support helps people cope with stress. Cohen says, friends help you face adverse events. They provide material aid, emotional support, and information that helps you deal with the stressors. There may be broader effects as well. Friends encourage you to take better care of yourself, and people with wider social networks are higher in self-esteem, and they feel they have more control over their lives. People with social support have fewer cardiovascular problems and immune problems and lower levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, says Tasha R. Howie, PhD, Associate Professor of Psychology at Humboldt. Why? The evolutionary argument maintains that humans are social animals, and we have evolved to be in groups. We have always needed others for our survival. It's in our genes. Therefore, people with social connections feel more relaxed and at peace, which is better related to health. Another study found that college freshmen who had small social networks and claimed to be loners had weaker immune response to flu vaccinations. They also had higher levels of stress hormones in their blood. Quick, another game of Simon Says. Simon says stand up. Simon says do a lunge. Simon says lunge to the other side. Simon says do a burpee. Simon says sit down. Signing as a coach can change your life so drastically, it can literally turn you into a millionaire if you're just willing to persevere. Taking on the responsibility of being a Success Club coach means that you're taking on the responsibility to change at least a handful of lives every month. Happiness can only be found in finding happiness for others, so when you can make a career out of changing lives, your life will be forever happy. Imagine the type of impact all of these character-building workdays will have on your life as the years pass. As a successful entrepreneur, you're doing what you love and taking what you do seriously. People who wake up every day with a job that they love to do, that is working well for them, increases their lifespan, increases their organ function, and they are less likely to incur illness. When you take what you do seriously, your business will flourish. The feeling that success gives you is a healthy rush, similar to that of a cardio workout, which releases our feel-good chemicals. Similar to when someone receives praise or reward, which is also a huge part of being on Team Beachbody. This is Georgia. Georgia has recently done a PIO challenge and has signed up to be a discount coach because of her Shakeology. Georgia has been approached by her upline coach to take part in a Coach Basics training so that she could perhaps make enough to pay for her entire Shakeology order by signing up one person a month. Georgia was currently unemployed and looking for work and had been unsuccessful in looking for better housing. During Georgia's awesome 10-day Ignite Your Coach Flame training program, she was asked to step outside of her comfort zone and begin conversation with people she wouldn't normally have. One day, Georgia was in the lobby of her building getting her mail, and someone from her building was checking their mail. She remembered what her coach had said about trying to strike up conversation, so she stepped outside of her comfort zone and complimented the woman's purse. Georgia got to mention Beachbody and ended up signing that woman as a challenger and then as a coach on the same day. Georgia's increased confidence became a magnet for great business, and because of her willingness to approach people and carry on meaningful conversation, she has since come across with the perfect available housing and has become a successful top Beachbody coach. Meet Sam. Sam hasn't felt like herself since she had a pregnancy that unexpectedly resulted in twins. Her body went through so many changes during the pregnancy that her and her husband's intimate life had been non-existent since 3 months into her pregnancy. Her kids were now turning 2, and she knew things had to change. She was up late one night, like always, because she hasn't had a good night's sleep in months. and saw an infomercial for Shaun T's Insanity. She Googled the products and was assigned a coach who got her started in a challenge group, and Sam was able to lose 40 pounds with Shaun T. Sam is the most ecstatic about the change to her love life because ever since Sam has blown away her pre-baby body out of the water, her self-confidence has gone through the roof. Her and her husband say that they act like when they were first got married and that they can't keep their hands to themselves. Sam's husband has ever since began the Insanity Challenge and is feeling up to the task as ever. The positive effects of sex are numerous. Sexually active people take fewer sick days, says Yvonne K. Fulbright, PhD, a sexual health expert. People who have sex have higher levels of what defends your body against germs, viruses, and other intruders. Researchers at Wilkes University in Pennsylvania found that college students who had sex once or twice a week had higher levels of the certain antibodies compared to students who had sex less often. Good sex is like a workout for your pelvic floor muscles, so when you have an orgasm, it causes contractions in those muscles, which strengthens them. A strong pelvic floor is important for avoiding incontinence, which is something that will affect 30% of women in their lives. Joseph Pinzone, MD, is a CEO and medical director of MA Wellness Center. There have been many studies. One landmark study found that sexual intercourse specifically lowered systolic blood pressure, which is the first number on your blood pressure test. Heart attack is the number one killer of women, and a good sex life is good for your heart. Besides being a great way to raise your heart rate, sex helps keeps your estrogen and testosterone levels in balance, because when either of these is low, you begin to get a lot of problems, like osteoarthritis and even heart disease. During one study, men who had sex at least twice a week were half as likely to die of heart disease as men who had sex rarely. So we'll all be keeping our husbands around a little bit longer. Being happier and more confident will also increase your ability to do your job. For those challengers who have full-time careers, this will benefit from vast improvements to themselves that will increase their ability to be successful in their own jobs. In the challenge group, it is stressed that positivity is a must to see positive results. You cannot have a negative outlook and do well in a challenge. So by simply changing one small thing to practice positivity can be a life-changing habit to create. Being happier when you go to work can 1. Help you engage with others more effectively and gain support more easily, develop you as a role model and someone to watch, admire, and learn from, give you greater positive impact and influence on your culture, your environment, and your colleagues, boost your immunity to negative outside occurrence, and inspire others around you to find the courage to seek and move towards the positive. It strengthens your ability to advocate effectively for others and others, which in turn attract more positive opportunity for all involved. Paves the way for more collaborative success rather than crushing competition. Builds your reputation as someone worthy of trust and support. Helps you see possibility where others see only hopelessness. And it brings to light your achievements and accomplishments rather than highlighting your failures. This is Stephen. Stephen's wife has just completed her first Beachbody challenge and her life is crazy. She's a brand new, proud woman and Stephen could not be happier to be a part of her life. Stephen is not using any Beachbody products himself, but his life has completely changed. He works for a top executive firm in the city and over the past 4 months has received a promotion, which came along with a salary increase, and has built a team of 4 under him. He says that since his wife has taken part in her challenge group, he goes to work more confident with himself because every morning starts on a happy note. He has breakfast with his wife, they talk about the positive things about her journey, and he encourages her for her daily workout, and she always makes him feel appreciated for his support. He has her on his mind all day at work, and that means that he's smiling. The people that work with Stephen have mentioned his newfound smile on numerous occasions, and he knows that this has had a huge impact on the new relationships he's created at his work. Because his wife is more positive, he feels that he comes home from work, he can talk to her about his day, even the negative things, because together they will come up with a positive solution or a positive outlook on what's going on because they're a team. and both of them are succeeding in every venture of their lives. A study published in the Journal of Psychology and Behavior noted that simple acts of being married can add years to a person's life. Marriage can even lower the risk of all sorts of diseases, including cancer, high blood pressure, heart disease, and the flu. Caring spouses often encourage each other to eat right, exercise, take vacation, and choose a healthy lifestyle. Close and supportive companionship also acts as a buffer against stress and all of its physical and emotional consequences. On the other hand, unhappy marriage can drag partners down in body and spirit. Fights, both heated and long simmering, uncertainty about the future, unequivocal workloads, and a basic lack of compatibility can all generate unhealthy levels of stress. As researchers noted in Psychology and Behavior, the impact of marital stress on health is similar in magnitude to more traditional risk factors such as physical inactivity and smoking. While there is no standard definition of a happy marriage, researchers at San Diego State University and the University of Pittsburgh likely came across when they followed the marriage of nearly 500 women for 13 years. The researchers asked women to rate the quality of sex and communication in their marriage and the amount of time they spent with their husbands. They also asked if the marriage was compatible in the terms of lifestyle, temperament, and interest. For the sake of the study, marriages that scored poorly in these categories were considered unsatisfying, while those that scored well were considered satisfying. Terms that probably wouldn't draw an argument from the women. As reported in the journal Health Psychology, the study found that the women in unsatisfying marriages seemed to be walking targets for heart disease. Compared to women in satisfying marriages, they had higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol, and higher body mass indexes. They also suffer from higher levels of depression, anxiety, and anger. As the researchers noted, each of these physical and emotional pitfalls raises the risk of heart disease, and each can be fueled by stress. The dangers of marital stress aren't merely hypothetical. A study of nearly 300 women with heart disease published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that marital stress by itself tripled the risk of heart surgery, heart attack, or death in the following 5 years. Just as remarkably, a study of 189 men and women with congestive heart failure, published in the American Journal of Cardiology, found that survival depends just as much on the quality of the marriage as the severity of the disease. Repeating a common theme, this study found that marital quality had a larger impact on women than on men. Someone who takes part in a challenge is not just changing their lives and their spouse, but they're changing the lives of their kids, their parents, their coworkers, and every stranger that they come across. The power of passing on a smile is unimaginable. Part of being in a challenge or using Beachbody products is good nutrition. Eating healthy allows your body to function better. When you eat healthy, you feel more alert. You have more energy to spare because your body isn't trying to run on sugar and fat. Eating a healthy mix of grains, fruits, vegetables, dairy, and protein gives your body all the nutrition it needs. So eating fruits and vegetables is also believed to reduce your risk for certain cardiovascular diseases, stroke, and type 2 diabetes, and even cancer. With a healthy diet, your body physically functions better. When your body is functioning at its best, not only do you feel more awake, but you are also more focused. Your focus can then bring you to do any number of activities. The more focused you are, the more you can get done. Eating healthy can boost your mood and lower your stress levels. Your mental health is much more stimulated with your body fulfilled and running smoothly. As coaches, every day we are interacting with people that don't feel that they are seeing results. Now you're all a little more educated in understanding why the lack of changes in inches and pounds has nothing to do with the definition of our success. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.